With that, I'd like to invite Minister Duncan to the podium.
Thank you very much, Doug. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome my colleagues, MLA Warren Kading, as well as MLA Terry Jensen, as well as Chief Darcy Bear, the board chair of SaskPower, and to the entire SaskPower team that is joining us for today's announcement. On behalf of Premier Scott Moe and the Government of Saskatchewan, I want to thank all of you for being here. I also want to thank Lisa McBride from GE Hitachi Canada for joining us here today. As you know, the changing global energy landscape impacts every household and every aspect of our economy. Saskatchewan people are changing their behaviors and their expectations, while businesses and industry need clean energy to remain competitive in a global marketplace. New entrants in Saskatchewan's economy are considering the cost, reliability, and carbon footprint of power before investing here. As a result, Saskatchewan, along with the rest of the world, is in a period of transformation. Saskatchewan's power system, as it is today, took nearly a century to build, and we're working to decarbonize it in a fraction of that time. This will include expanding options that are already available to us, like natural gas, wind, and solar, while also pursuing emerging non-emitting baseload power generation options, such as nuclear power from small modular reactors. To achieve this transformation, ongoing collaboration with industry, utilities, other provinces, and levels of government will be essential. In November, I was pleased to announce a new agreement between SaskPower and Ontario Power Generation's commercial subsidiary, Laurentis Energy Partners. This partnership is providing expertise around what will be required to become a qualified nuclear licensee in Canada. And today, I'm proud to announce a new agreement between SaskPower and GE Hitachi to collaborate on project planning and share expertise to advance small modular reactor development in Saskatchewan. In 2022, SaskPower selected the GE Hitachi BWRX 300 reactor technology to advance its small modular reactor project. This decision came following a comprehensive evaluation and analysis of several leading SMR designs, and was based on factors such as generation size, technological readiness, fuel type, safety, and cost. By working with GE Hitachi, SaskPower will have access to considerable expertise and information to enable critical next steps, particularly around design specifications, siting, and licensing activities. The work to build a clean energy future will require insight and expertise from those in the industry. By collaborating on the potential deployment of SMRs, we will protect our ability to provide safe, reliable, and cost-effective power for Saskatchewan people and offer competitive rates to attract new investment and support Saskatchewan's growing economy. I want to extend my congratulations to SaskPower and GE Hitachi for reaching this agreement, and I look forward to an exciting future for both organizations. And with that, I'd like to invite SaskPower President and CEO Rupen Pandya to the podium. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Minister Duncan, for those words of encouragement. I'd just also like to acknowledge MLAs Jansen and Keating, and acknowledge SaskPower Board Chair Chief Darcy Bear, and I'd like to welcome our guests, Lisa McBride, who is the Vice President and Country Lead for GE Hitachi, and welcome to all of you for joining us this morning. As the developed world turns to electricity to decarbonize the economy, SaskPower is presented with a tremendous opportunity to shape how electricity is provided in the decades ahead. Of course, our priority is to ensure reliable, sustainable, and cost-effective power for our customers and the communities we serve. The energy transition underway will mean profound changes to how Saskatchewan is powered. We're working as fast as we can to meet our 2050 target by exploring a range of reliable and carbon-free solutions, including nuclear power from SMRs. There are several years of project development, licensing, and regulatory work that will be required to support our final investment decision in 2029. As the Minister noted, to complete this work, we must continue to establish partnerships and collaborate with organizations who have significant expertise and experience within the nuclear industry to support this journey. The agreement signing today between SaskPower and GE Hitachi formalizes our partnership to collaborate on project planning and to share expertise to advance the small modular reactor project in Saskatchewan. GE Hitachi has had several decades of experience in the nuclear industry and is a world-leading provider of reactors and nuclear services. And through this agreement, SaskPower will receive access to a wealth of technical and engineering expertise related to design, fuel sourcing, and fabrication information for the BWRX 300, all of which will be required during our site selection and licensing processes. In addition, GE Hitachi will support SaskPower with project planning, supply chain, and workforce information for the BWRX 300. Leveraging GE Hitachi's expertise and experience will be very important in our advancement of our SMR project. Wherever our path takes us, whatever it looks like, the reality is right now that we face profound change. We're at a turning point in the energy transition, and there is no question about that. And like I said earlier, with change comes great opportunity. Today's partnership is a testament to this. It's an opportunity for collaboration, which I believe is critical as Saskatchewan navigates the energy transition. I look forward to working with our partners at GE Hitachi on this important transition, and I thank you all for coming this morning. And now I'd like to invite Lisa McBride from GE Hitachi to come on up. Thank you.
Good morning. It certainly is a pleasure to be back here in Saskatchewan today to discuss the next step in our collaboration and partnership with the provincial government and SaskPower to advance the potential deployment of small modular reactors. I do want to start by sharing my appreciation for Minister Duncan, Chief Bear, Rupin, and the entire SaskPower team for their ongoing support and engagement throughout this process. GE has had a long history and been a leader and innovator in Canada's nuclear energy sector, dating all the way back actually to the 1960s. And at that time, GE was part of the Nuclear Power Demonstration Unit deployment, along with Ontario Hydro and Atomic Energy Canada Limited. The NPD, as it came to be known, actually formed the prototype for the CANDU fleet, which is operated today in Canada. And so our long history in Canada, when we were here at the beginning, is what really makes today's announcement very exciting for us. I am proud to say that more than 6 decades later, we are once again at the forefront of nuclear innovation in Canada with the design of our BWRX 300 reactor. The BWRX 300 reimagines what is possible when it comes to generating reliable carbon-free energy. Its design requires less concrete, steel, and space needed for construction. But the benefits of SMRs aren't just environmental, but they're economic too. So even before SaskPower selected our technology, as mentioned back in 2022, for potential deployment, we had actually already begun entering into agreements with Saskatchewan-based organizations such as SIMSA and Cameco to maximize the role and opportunities for the Saskatchewan supply chain for the domestic and global nuclear energy industry. Most important, I think, for the people of Saskatchewan are the good-paying jobs that can be created with the deployment of SMRs. According to a 2021 Conference Board of Canada study, the deployment of 4 SMRs could generate as much as $5.6 billion in wages and more than 7,000 jobs during manufacturing and construction per year. Today's agreement with SaskPower is another important step in our efforts to support Saskatchewan's workers, businesses, and clean energy goals, and we look forward to seeing the conversations continue around the site evaluation process. This agreement also builds off of our work with Ontario Power Generation, where a contract is in place to build the first BWRX 300 at OPG's Darlington site, and planning work for 3 additional BWRX 300s is already underway. OPG and the province of Ontario have staked a leading position globally in the deployment of new nuclear, and we look forward to working with our project partners to build a fleet of new reactors together and demonstrate nuclear project excellence in Canada. And we are very happy to join SaskPower as a partner on their project. This project will pave the way to our success right here in Saskatchewan, where we will be building on our lessons learned and bringing the successes of that project right here to our deployment potential in Saskatchewan. It is an exciting moment for nuclear energy here in Canada, and it is a privilege to be on this journey with you. Thank you, and I'll turn it back to Doug.
Thank you, Lisa. And with that, I'd like to open the floor to questions.
Minister and Mr. Rupin, I'm of the understanding, having talked to a few people, that SaskPower has begun the process of land assembly in the Estevan area for possible reactor sites. I don't know if anything's happening in the Diefenbach area. Can you speak to the land assembly if you're actually working on that?
Thanks for the question, Brian. Yeah, so as part of our SMR project, we've identified 2 study regions in Saskatchewan, one in the Elbow region, one in the Estevan region. As part of our project planning, we're in the narrowing phase of finding specific sites within both regions that we can then, along with GE Hitachi and our partners, subject to technical characterization over the course of the next year as we line up to make an impact assessment application. So we are in the process right now of securing land for further study.
And when the initial announcement was made about 2 years ago now of Minister Morgan, he spoke of 4 reactors. And then over last summer, we heard him reference up to possibly 8 or 9. Premier was not very specific when I spoke to him about that last August. Ms. McBride just talked about 4. Do we have a number that we actually know where we're going here, Minister?
Sorry, I was just interrupted by one in the media. They didn't hear Rupin's answer, so they're asking if you could answer from the podium. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Did you want me to, Kathy, do you want me to jump back on that first question then?
Please just repeat.
Can you hear that then? Everyone can hear that? Okay, well, thanks for the question, Brian. So the question was, is SaskPower in the process of assembling land in the Estevan region for possible SMR study? And the answer is yes. So we, as part of our SMR pathway, have identified 2 study regions in the province, one around Elbow, one around Estevan. And over the course of the last year, we've been narrowing down within both study regions specific sites that we could then subject to further geotechnical testing and characterization along with our partners so that we can actually make an impact assessment application sometime in 2025. So I think there was a second question.
How many reactors?
Thanks. And the question was on the number of reactors. And right now, we are focused on our first reactor. So it is absolutely true that our colleagues in Ontario Power Generation have announced that they will build 4 BWRX 300s at the Darlington new site. Certainly, we as a company are focused on our first reactor. I would note for everybody in the room, though, our current grid capacity is around 5,400 megawatts of capacity, and we're forecasting a grid in that 13,000 to 15,000 megawatt range by 2050. So in terms of non-emitting baseload technology, we'll need to look at what available technologies are, and we'll need to make those decisions down the road.
You said you're assembling land at Estevan, and you alluded to Elbow. Are you assembling land there as well right now?
Yeah, so the next step in our project will be to identify land that we could subject to further testing in both the Estevan and the Elbow study regions.
Tony Quinones from Why Not Media. Is indigenous land being considered for these projects?
Yeah, certainly, Indigenous partnership will be important as part of the SMR project. We have been working along with the First Nations Center of Excellence and the First Nations Power Authority on the question of how we can use the opportunity of nuclear to further Indigenous economic reconciliation. So whether that is land, labor, equity participation, that is all on the table.
Stuart Manhas, Global News. Since we're talking nuclear, we'll have to talk fuel and waste. What's the type of fuel, its half-life expectancy, and what's the plan for waste?
Yeah, so certainly, maybe I'll let Lisa answer the question. Do you want to try that? Great.
The BWRX 300 uses GNF2 fuel. So it's the fuel that's actually used in the boiling water reactor fleet today. So it's manufactured, it's certified, and it's ready to go, which is really what helps us meet the desired timelines. In terms of waste, waste can be stored safely on site within the reactor within pools where it comes to a cooling temperature before it's put into dry casks. And then to find a permanent housing location. Nuclear Waste Management Organization works closely with licensees and utilities for that permanent housing location.
Do we have a permanent housing location for waste?
So the Nuclear Waste Management Organization is, I don't want to speak for them as I'm not a spokesperson for them, but they are looking at site selection by the end of 2024, and they're down to 2 potential sites for their deep geological repository.
What are the locations?
Ontario in South Bruce and Ignace. Thank you.
So does that mean potentially Saskatchewan waste is planning to be shipped out to Ontario then for those sites?
There's a preliminary plan. The waste generated from nuclear is stored long-term safely. In fact, it's stored long-term safely on all the sites in Canada today in dry casks where it can actually remain there. Long-term planning would be something that we would need to undertake in coordination with Nuclear Waste Management Organization and SaskPower. We're a few decades away from actually working through that plan, but we would certainly be engaging stakeholders along the way as we work through that plan.
Minister, we're about 2 years into this process now since the initial announcement. Do we have any updated numbers as to what you're expecting the cost per reactor is going to be?
No, we don't at this point. Certainly, GE Hitachi is working through final design, and so I think one of the benefits for us in terms of being the nth of a kind, we're not the first of a kind, and so we'll certainly have a lot of learnings to learn through Ontario Power Generation's experience with the deployment of the GE Hitachi unit, and so that'll give us a better idea of what that'll look like. But certainly, that's one of the benefits for us to follow in OPG is they'll go through a lot of the I think. Issues with deploying a first-of-a-kind technology, and we're hoping to benefit from that process.
Sorry, one last one.
Lisa, imagine I'm a 5-year-old kid. How would you explain me what a small modular reactor is?
Sure, that's a great question. A small modular reactor is a nuclear reactor. It boils water. That's how we make energy, is with the steam. So it's a boiling water reactor. We boil the water, the steam turns the turbine, and it's connected to the grid. So if you think about it, essentially like a large kettle, and that's essentially what we do is a steam turbine to produce the energy.
I think that's it. Go ahead, Doug.
Well, with that, I'd like to wrap it up. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today for this announcement, and I look forward to future announcements down the road. So thank you for coming today.